All right, welcome in, welcome in. I'm Illini Isaac here. This is the Champaign room. Live, but we're not really live right now. I am joined by Mike Surette of the Providence Crier. We're going to talk a little Stefan Vaaks and maybe some other college basketball NIL type fun things. But Mike, thanks for joining me today.
Yeah, Isaac, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, and you're probably noticing the Providence Crier is a little bit different and spin off of the Providence Friar. So, Mike, if you could tell us a little bit about just how you got this started and then why the Providence Crier.
Yeah, so I when I went to Providence, I graduated in 2012. I worked for the team when I was there, and post college, I kind of just got the itch to get involved in some way, and so started up the blog and podcast, and we've been going strong for about like 7 years now.
Awesome. And real quick before we get into it, what has the transition for a team like Providence been? So doesn't play major football. There's been a huge transition of NIL and college athletics and everything in the last few years. So still obviously part of the Big East, which is such a powerful conference in basketball. But what has the shift been for Providence? Just really the last 5 or 6 years since NIL and everything has been, and the transfer portal has been so dominant.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, when conference or realignment first happened with the schools leaving the Big East, Province was kind of given an opportunity to kind of build their program up, and so with that, PCs, they've won a Big East tournament regular title. They've won a Big East regular season championship for the first time in a while. So when conference realignment first happened, it was kind of scary for a lot of the teams in the Big East, but PC's been able to rebound quite well. And obviously, the years of Cooley that he gave PC really kind of turned the culture around of the program. And we've always had a passionate fan base, win or lose. And so now, people are in this NIL world, people are hungry to build a winner and help that happen at Providence.
So obviously, Stefan Vox decides to leave Providence, and he's now coming to Illinois, which was for Illinois fans. We were super excited. We are still super excited. What was Providence's take on a guy like Stefan Vox? Nowadays, it's hard to be frustrated when a guy leaves, unless there's some bad blood or something really murky that happened. But what did fans think about Stefan Vox?
Yeah, I mean, well, obviously there was a coaching change at Providence this past season with Brian Hodgson being added. So, I wouldn't necessarily say there was bad blood. Vox had some great moments for Providence in his one season. And I think it was kind of just understood. Providence is kind of moving in a new direction, and so was he. So.
Yeah, what were some of Vox's biggest strengths, you think, that like in his best moments, what was he really showing on the court?
I mean, obviously his perimeter shooting is what sticks out. Like he has deep range and he's not afraid to take big shots. Shot at 35% on a high volume. I think he can be better. I feel like some of his shots, I mean, I'm sure Illinois fans have seen the clips. Like he hits that crazy one at MSG and he gets fouled against St. John's in the Big East tournament. And, there's 7 seconds on the shot clock, right? And he has the confidence to pull up from very far away and he hits the shot, right? But there were times when he did that and the shot did not go in, right? So I think his shot selection can be a little bit better at Illinois. And maybe part of that was that he had like a big bulk of the offensive load at PC last year.
Yeah, so that was going to be my next question was what are some of his weaknesses? I think Illinois fans have heard a lot about the defense, so I'm sure maybe you're going to say that's one of them, but really how bad was the defense actually and maybe some of other of his weaknesses to watch out for?
Well, I believe on Evan Mirakawa's rankings, I believe he was the lowest rated defensive player at PC last year, and Providence's defense was certainly not good. They were one of the higher scoring teams in the Big East, yet they gave up the most points in the league. So, I don't want to put it all on Vox. There's 5 guys on the court. So, I think, listen, the rebound numbers for him should have to improve, right? Like to only have 2.3 rebounds with a guy his size, like I think he could do that better. And I think in Underwood's system, he actually, you got other guys to make up for any sort of defensive lapses in his game. So
As far as ceiling, like I think some guys, they just are big scorers. Maybe they don't do a ton else, but what do you think Vox's ceiling was? Like if he would have stayed at Providence and the system would have worked out for him, and yeah, what do you think will be realistic for Vox in his college career?
yeah, I mean, listen, I think he fits in well with Illinois and Stojakovic, and that creates a very fun backcourt. I think, you know, despite anything you want to say about Vox, he was certainly an exciting player to watch, just the shot making ability. I think he can be an improved passer as well.
Hmm.
He had some highlight reel assists, but I feel like last year at PC, he kind of put a little too much on his shoulders, probably. So I think he could fit in nicely with Illinois. I really do. And he's an exciting player to watch. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah, no, we're definitely super excited about him. And I was interested to hear from a Providence perspective too, because I'm sure Providence gets this. Like when you get a transfer in, you really only focus on the positives and the good things about him. And then so it's interesting to hear from, an insider's perspective at a transfer's previous location. But no, we're definitely super excited for him. And it's nice to only have really one new transfer in and not have to learn a bunch of different things about a bunch of different guys. But as far as Providence goes, what is sort of because I'm from the Midwest, still live in the Midwest. I think of Providence. So, they're a basketball school in the Big East. They are up and down, I guess, at times. But when I think Providence basketball. And obviously, the past few years, the Ed Cooley situation has been a hot topic amongst college basketball. But what is sort of the expectation then for Providence and Brian Hodgson in the first year after obviously a disappointing last few years?
Yeah, I mean, he said it at his opening presser. He's here to win. He's here to win now. And I think he can do that. He's shown nothing but that so far as a head coach. His 2 years at Arkansas State were really, really good, and saw Arkansas State win the Sun Belt regular season championship in year 2. And then he goes to USF last year, and USF has one of their best seasons in program history. So winning the American and then regular season and outright tournament title there. Obviously, they lost to Louisville, but gave them a really good game in the NCAA tournament. So Hodgson's kind of proven it so far as a head coach. And you look at his stops prior at Alabama in Buffalo with Nate Oates. Like, this guy definitely seems like a really good hire by Providence for sure.
What are a new couple pieces that Providence has added? Who are fans really excited about on the court?
Yeah, well, Coach Hodgson pretty much had to remake the entire roster. The only guy returning is Ryan Mila from last year's team. So he had to build the thing out, and he certainly has. He's known as a good recruiter, and he's brought in a lot of good pieces. Malik Mack coming from Georgetown, a guy that's had experience in the Big East. And then Dink Pate as well, who was with the Westchester Knicks, but never signed, any two-way deal to maintain his college eligibility. He's in town as well. Those are probably two of the bigger names that PC fans are excited about this year.
I think this last question I got for you, what's like sort of the Big East outlook, and then what's Providence's like projection as far as, I'm sure UConn's going to be really good again. I'm sure St. John's going to be really good again, but what's sort of the overall Big East projection? And then where does Providence fall into that?
Yeah. So, I mean, certainly 1 and 2 kind of seem penciled in stone at this point with UConn and St. John's both coming off really good seasons and both having good off seasons as well. So those are two the clear in the pecking order. But then after that, it's pretty open. And, I do think Hodgson's system works. He's proven it. And, I didn't even mention Miles Burr coming over from San Diego State, a guy that's won multiple Mountain West Defensive Player of the Year. So I think PC has a talented team that can make a lot of noise in Hodgson's first season.
Well, Mike, thanks so much for joining us. I know this was a quick little episode, but I was just curious about Vox and your insight on it. And I honestly, I like the name of your blog and your podcast, because that sounds like something Illinois fans would do. Is start a blog like that, kind of a play on words. And so I really enjoy your time. Let us know, like, where can people find you? What's something big maybe you're working on this summer? What's coming up?
Yeah, I mean, I'm on X at Providence Crier, and we got the Providence Crier podcast, which is on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, as well as several other platforms as well. No, I mean, we're just looking for a good season. Obviously, Providence last 3 years missing the NCAA tournament. We're looking to get back, and certainly excited to cover what Hodgson has in store for year one.
What do Providence fans say to each other? Is there a saying, like Illinois fans, it's ILLINI? Is there a Providence thing?
I mean, obviously, go Friars or
Go
just Friar for short. You'll see a lot of that on social media. So
Friar. Okay. Hey, go Friars. Hope for a good season for you guys with Hodgson this year. Thanks, Mike.
thank you.